Now it is time for the heavy hitter, which is coming from Bloomberg's Jason Schreier. PlayStation Plus, now to merge into new subscription game service. I think the project name is Project Spartacus.
Spartacus.
Right? Yeah.
I'm Spartacus.
All right. So this is very interesting. To the fact that was it Jim Ryan that said that they weren't going to do a Game Pass?
Well, here's the difference. I think in that conversation, everyone, like, when people think of game, like, how do I say this? PlayStation Now has always existed. It's always been the thing that it is. It's always kind of been a Game Pass before Game Pass, but Microsoft marketed Game Pass better. So like, what people when
Game Pass is better also.
Yes, and when people talk about Game Pass, they're talking about the Microsoft first-party content on Game Pass. That is the promise of Game Pass, and I think something specifically in this listed is that PlayStation has no plans on doing that with their first-party games.
Yeah. Oh, actually, let me.
Also, Jim Ryan is a duplicitous hoe.
Oh my god.
But yeah, Jim Ryan. To Avery's point, Jim Ryan went on record saying that he could not envision a service where they're putting their first party games on.
Right. So just real quick, details on Spartacus. I'm reading from the article. Details from Spartacus may still not be finalized, but documentation reviewed by Bloomberg outlines a service with 3 tiers. The first would include existing PlayStation Plus benefits. The second would offer a large category of PS4 and eventually PS5 games. The third tier would add extended demos, game streaming, and a library of classic PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and PSP games. Actually, that third tier kind of...
Remember PSP, guys?
No.
So wait, that third tier actually kind of goes in line with the last article that I chose to skip because, the PlayStation mobile controller.
Well, another thing in the conversation around this is that they're also doubling down on game streaming. So
finally, right?
Well,
the Azure cloud network with Microsoft they partnered with a couple years ago.
I'm not going to litigate this. We can. Yeah, they said they're doubling down on game streaming. So the question is, I will. We've talked about this on multiple occasions. I don't want a Game Pass for PS5. PlayStation. I've never wanted one.
Game Pass in what regards? Like the first party stuff coming to.
Well, that was my thing. When this was just announced with no details, and they announced it as it was PlayStation's Game Pass, I mauled it. I was like, this is the thing I want the least. This is me, Avery Williams, personally, and then here's me, Avery Williams, talking about from a design standpoint, the quality of a PlayStation 5 single play solo game and the amount of effort and time they put into those. I'm under the belief that when you build games for a how would I say this? A more budget price point in terms of people getting it, that the way the games are designed has to change with it.
Admittedly, I feel like we've already been taking mad shortcuts with AAA games.
But no, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the way the games are scoped. I don't think you would get a Last of Us style game, of all the time and effort put into that game, if it was designed to be in a
free
subscription. I don't think you would get something like that. Yeah. So when this was announced, I was like, oh, it sucks. I don't personally want to see a studio like Naughty Dog, who makes these really great studio things, then have to make a multiplayer game or have a multiplayer component to make sure their game has a long shelf life on this service. And I don't like it. It was one of those things. That being said, when further investigation went down and they listed the tier system, it very much feels like this is just business as usual, and they're just buffing the output of games on it. This, I don't think this is this is just for me, from what I can read here, this is just a rebrand of PlayStation Now.
Yeah, so I'm looking at these tiers, and I find it interesting between the first tier and the second tier. The first tier being it would include the existing PlayStation Plus benefits, which is
what I want, and I'll probably get that.
But yeah, but I mean, that is just you get, you get like one or two PS4 games and a PS5 game. But then the second tier
Which is,
is you get a catalog of PS4 games
which is what
and
PlayStation
eventually
Now is.
PS5 games.
Which is what PlayStation Now is.
I thought PS Now had like a bunch of older like PS2
It
and
does,
1.
but it also has PS4 games.
Oh, okay. So they're almost like just breaking up
Yes.
the
Yeah.
catalog in PS Now.
Yeah. They're making it easier to understand what PlayStation Now is.
So another thing, because I'm just not like I don't know much about the catalog on PS Now, but is it all just PlayStation published games, or do they have
No.
third party games on there?
They have a bunch of third party games there. They don't market them the way Xbox does, and they don't nearly have nearly the number that Xbox has.
Actually, PS Now has more. PS
Well, I
Now
mean,
has
they
way
have
more
what I'm
applications.
talking about is how do I parse this?
The amount of subscribers.
The quality of the quality of
It's
the
a quality
PS Now
versus quantity.
backlog.
It's a quantity versus quality thing. I think Xbox Game Pass has done a better job as of now, not succumbing to quantity of like it's not just about quantity. I think they do a really good job of curating what goes on their service. PlayStation Now, because it started out as like, hey, here's the entire PS3 backlog. So there's a shit ton of like
Hella
weird-
games.
Yeah.
So
Personally,
okay,
I still think that we just need to see how lucrative the subscription systems are for these companies. I mean, of course, the traditional model of basic, well, not basic, but you pay X amount of money for the game and you have the rest of your life. That's totally fine, and people still are going to purchase individual games. But there's always been a lag with the game industry in terms of other medias, and same with movies, same with television shows, same with music. A subscription system is where the consumer zeitgeist has been moving towards.
It is, but the big difference between all those mediums is just the overhead.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like I'm
So-
like
So real quick, I was looking up, if Armor Core is in PS Now. It's not, unfortunately, but I did see I'm right here. There's two people right here looking for Armor Core.
Two.
DJ has
I
gone
said
insane.
Gone. I'm
Oh, he's
already
talking
there.
about he's talking
I
about
was being
Santa.
generous. I
He's
was being
talking about
generous.
Santa.
I was being generous.
Oh, well, I did eat Santa, so that would make sense. I would say too. So, the other article thing that I saw, yeah. So this actually kind of explains why PlayStation shut down the PS3 store, the PSP store, whatever. But they also shut down the PS Vita store, and there's no Vita
Justice
games
for
on there.
Vita. Just
I mean, it's PSP.
Where-
I mean, like
where-
a lot of PSP games. Were
It's
on
Vita
Vita.
games also have the problem that the Vita is a very unique piece of hardware, where
Is it?
certain
Okay.
games are unplayable on other software because of the touch stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And
right. I did have a touchscreen. That's right. Okay.
That's
That makes sense then.
another question I had when PlayStation's back catalog going back to the PS2 and PS3. Like
That's the only interesting thing to me on this. I have no interest in this because old game is old and like it's whatever. But have they figured out a way of emulation on their hardware, or is this just them doubling down on the PlayStation Now Gaikai streaming? Which, for the most part, if you have good internet, is pretty good. It's not ideal, and frankly, game streaming isn't ideal, period, as of yet. But it's one of those things where every instance of I've seen someone trying it out with actual good internet seems to be if this serves its purpose. Like I'm currently watching Kind of Funny play Metal Gear Solid 4. You cannot play that game on a modern console. However, with PS Now, you can play it versus PS Now. They are streaming that game online on multiple feeds, and Barrett Courtney, who's playing it, seems to have no issue playing that game.
like that's the big question. Like if they figured out that emulation, because what Xbox had done to not only allow you to get you access to those other games, you're able to actually download them too, and that was a big effort.
Yes, because
I'm
I'm sorry, Jordan, you continue.
No. I was just like that. That was the last thing I was saying. It was a big effort. That's like
Yeah, well, because the thing about the Xbox emulation, which I think a lot of people don't understand, is it's not them just turning on a switch It's them physically rebuilding those games on an emulator to allow them to run. That's why they've said out now we are not doing any more backwards compatibility anymore. Because like licensing, because like if all that shit exists on a fucking, if all that shit exists on a hard drive, like on the 360 fucking store, and theoretically all you had to have done was hit a switch and all that shit would move forward. But instead they're essentially slightly remastering every game to have it emulated on the current console.
Yeah.
I think in PlayStation case, I don't think that's an issue with PS2 and PS1 games. PS3 is the issue.
I think
was its own thing.
The other thing to consider is that right now, a PlayStation Plus membership costs $60. And
Well,
that is supposed to be, for a year. So that's supposed to be the bottom tier. So what is the third tier going to look like? Like how high do you think they could possibly
$100?
You think 100?
If it promises everything here, $100 is perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
If anything higher than that, and they are asking to be fucking clowned.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where like PlayStation Plus membership for 1 month is like $10. Tier 2 should be 15, maybe 20, and tier 3 at that point should, I think realistically, if everything they say on the tier system works as promised and to the quality that we expected, I think $20 a month is a reasonable ask for what they are offering.
Yeah. So that third tier again is extended demos, game streaming, a library of classic PS1, 2, 3, and PSP games. And that once you also will get the PS4 games and PS5 games because you would automatically have tier 5 or tier 2, tier 5.
I am good with just doing tier 1 and keeping Game Pass.
So here's the thing, right? Now that I actually reread the tier 3, I'm kind of irritated with the whole extended demos thing, especially reading how Xbox is so good about just giving you demos that you can just play.
Well, I need Xbox. This is them previewing games for you.
Yeah, no.
This is not like you going into the Xbox store and like I want to play.
But no, what I'm saying is that a while ago,
Age of Empires and there's a demo. I think they're doing that now.
But Age of Empires?
No, providing demos for games.
Don't they already provide the demos for games with PlayStation Plus subscription? Like you can just play demos.
Well, certain games. Certain games.
Xbox doesn't do demos. It's just like they
really?
Yeah, no. I think there was an article a month ago about them in the process of doing demos.
Yeah.
But then I'm assuming that those demos. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think. I mean, there's literally no way in hell I'm gonna get the third tier, let alone probably not the second tier.
Midnight Club 3 again.
Here's the thing, right? Here's the honest truth.
I don't understand why everyone's so excited about playing old games.
So here's the thing, right? I looked up
nostalgia, Avery.
If Armored Core was going to be on there, I didn't see nothing. I looked up if SSX was going to be on there, I didn't see nothing.
I thought you broke up with SSX.
I did, but there's no point, or there's no problem going to get coffee with the game.
Stop. Hey, move forward, King. Move forward. You got yourself a new queen.
But yeah, like I'll be so fascinated to see how this does. And I think the other side to this is part of me wonders if you could also just make the Smash Brothers comparison where it's like they release PlayStation All-Stars and it's like, well, why didn't you just release Smash Brothers?
I think that's an argument that I've heard people parrot, but then it just gets to what everyone's strategy is. Xbox has built everything around Game Pass. Everything around Game Pass. They have no other strategy. That is it. PlayStation Plus and PlayStation has always been about the strength of their first party lineup and those games, and then everything else has been additive. And for the most part, it's never been an issue. Like, this is less to me them trying to compete with Game Pass and more trying to just clarify their fucking disparate their disparate products.
Well, one thing that Jim Ryan did say was he just found it difficult for at least for the first party, like the first party space. Not every owner of a PlayStation console bought Ratchet and Clank. Not every owner of a PlayStation console bought Miles Morales. And he's saying like, damn, we put a lot of money into these games. It's not like it's not like there wasn't a return on investment. There surely was a return on investment, but he just felt like it was just so caged within the console.
Yeah.
And that's why like I think this also is moving in concordance with their PC initiative also. Because it's like you get so much more back with like clearing those monthly subscriptions. Like it's a one-time thing with Miles Morales. When someone purchases Miles Morales, it's over. It's done. Yep. But if they're purchasing a service associated with those strong properties, that is more lucrative for them in the long run.
It's honestly it's less than it's less a competition with the Xbox Game Pass and more a competition with the ecosystem. If this was like to an early point that Jordan made ages ago, is that they don't, for the most part, these companies don't give a shit about their first party content as much as they want you to just buy other games on their hardware.
Okay, yeah.
So like if like this is a perfect example of like I have no interest in Game Pass because like I have a bunch of weird fucking personal like tenets I live by that makes Game Pass a moot point to me. That being, and those same tenets hold true for me for this thing. Like it's whatever. I did all my molding that day. I read all the news. I'm like, oh, this is fine. I'll get to level 1. No part of my life will change. But for that PlayStation in this transition period that they're in right now, where Xbox is now building Steam and people are spending more and more time in that ecosystem, if they had something on par with it and their games, it's one of those things where it's an interesting development. According to Jason's reporting, we'll see more about this. It's supposed to go live this spring, so we'll probably start getting news somewhere mid to late winter when they want to talk about it.
At the Game Awards.
No, that's not gonna happen.
Nah, I feel like we're gonna get probably like a state of play. Like I don't know how they would.
We'll get a blog post.
A blog? You think it's gonna be a blog post?
Yeah.
And also, there was a thing where this was like that bundle with the movies. Remember that the movies?
That's the point.
Yeah.
They also have all this multimedia stuff that no other company has that they can just also bolster that process.
And the phones too. You can get a free phone with your PlayStation Plus subscription.
I just realized Sony just straight up doesn't have a streaming service.
No, they don't.
You know, and
they got the
people care way too much about their Spider-Man movies.
That's the thing.
I mean, with good reason.
That's
if they were to
with good reason.
Last 3 movies.
if they were to,
I'm talking about Venom and all that bullshit.
That service, like that movie service, and have like one-off episodes with the Spider-Verse, like with the crazy 3D animation Spider-Man. That'd be a fairly. I mean, like they have a pretty strong case for having a multimedia.
Yeah, they did just drop a trailer.
You know, like have like little snippets, like only available to those customers, and then to be torrented later, of course. But,
this is the way of the internet. What do you mean?
Yep.
All right. I think we're for the most part cautiously optimistic for this.
I'm not optimistic. I don't.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
I already said I'm gonna get tier 1 and then play Game Pass. I don't care.
Yeah. I definitely feel like
play Deer Hunter.
You know what?
Deer Runner just came out, Marcus. I want to fucking start playing that crazy ass game.
You know, I think you know what? I think the barometer of this is gonna be if Sean buys into this. Because if he doesn't buy into this, then
I think
Sean's
argument against Game Pass was that Game Pass doesn't have any games I want to play on it. That's been his entire argument about Game Pass.
Exactly.
If they don't have PlayStation games on here that Sean would want to play, then they clearly made a mistake with with this entire situation.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if Sean looks at this and be like, "Nah," then this is gonna burn in a trash fire. That's all. That's Jim Ryan. You gotta try again. Start over. Control Alt
Stop
Delete
being a hoe.
twice. Jesus.
My beef is forever.
Right? I said what I said. I'll see him in the Game Awards.
Exactly. I'm gonna see Jim Ryan in the back.
Jim Ryan's in EU. He's not coming to NA. EU's got too much COVID problems.
Marcus like, hey Jim Ryan, I am Marcus from Press X to Start Podcast, and we have one word for you.
You might get Shuhei though. I heard he was in San Francisco this week.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool. Shuhei's cool though. All right. Well, this has been our episode of the Press X to Start podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed making it. Don't forget to rate and review on your favorite podcasting apps, and hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell on your favorite YouTube page, which is ours. Once you do all that, we say thank you ×2, and if you want to see anything more from us, check our website at pressx2start.com. And until next time, actually, watch our Game Awards. Actually, this is going to come out after the Game Awards prediction thing. So
yeah.
Next
Hopefully you watched it.
It will come out after the Game Awards.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. If you haven't seen it, make sure you watch our Game Awards predictions and then watch the Game Awards, even though this is all going to come on after that stuff, but whatever. With that being said, you take care and have a great day or night.
Uno out.
Peace.
Symbolic.